Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Outcomes Rocket. I'm so excited to have you back with us on our show because today I've got the privilege of hosting the outstanding Arielle Smith. She serves as Vice President of Growth at Event Cadence. They're a versatile event management platform that enables companies to efficiently plan and manage in-person, virtual, and hybrid events. If you guys are listening to this, you know we go to a lot of events and we work with companies that do events. So I'm excited to hear the innovative work that Arielle and her team at Event Cadence are up to, specifically focused on healthcare and pharma industries. So Arielle, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure. And look, before we unpack what Event Cadence does, tell us a little bit about you. What inspires your work in healthcare?
Sure. So I have somewhat of the classic but unfortunate story that I had a family member who passed away from complications of cancer. So when I was about 13, my mom fell ill to breast cancer. And then when I was 18, she passed from complications. Just for many reasons at that time, I decided to start my path towards medicine in general. With that being said, I graduated my undergrad. I did a bunch of resume enrichment programs. I got a job at a biotech lab and I started studying for my MCATs. And I was very much, on that path. And then what seems to be a very random weekday in 2014, I was studying at a Starbucks and I met someone that just completely changed my trajectory. From that point, I started working for a scientific media agency, and they were designed around just creating rich content for sales reps to just better sell whatever therapy, or drug that they're selling. And I honestly, I loved it. I never looked back. So since then, I've done some other things, but it's all been within a tech umbrella. And I've been with Event Cadence now for almost 7 years.
Amazing.
And I will just say that, I'm truly grateful to have found this role and what I'm doing, because I really do feel like it still gives me that healthcare perspective, right, that I was looking for. But I just have so many creative avenues and liberties now working within tech.
So cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So you met this game changer person and you did that gig for 3 years. Now you've been doing what you're doing for 10 years. And it all started with your mom. And there's so much work to be done in healthcare still. We shouldn't have those kinds of losses. And it powers a lot of the entrepreneurs and leaders that we have in this space to make a difference. So I want to learn more about how Event Cadence is helping you do that. How is it powering you up, and what are you guys doing to add value to the ecosystem?
Yeah. Okay. So here's my elevator pitch. We help bring pharma employees, healthcare employees, everything that they need to know about their organization's events or activities all in one place. This could be anything from their travel itinerary to sessions in which they're supposed to attend, which healthcare practitioners they should be engaging in, and of course, why. It could be giving them their company's resources or documents. It could be reviewing the purpose or a goal of why they're even attending the event in the first place. It could be for lead generation. It could even be for social media posts, for that competitive intelligence edge. I mean, the list really does go on and on. But at Event Cadence, everything is focused around intention and clear direction for why we're doing what we're doing for the organization. So, for example, for a medical congress, an industry conference, which I will say is by far our bread and butter. A big part of what we do is we streamline appointment scheduling between the pharmaceutical company, our client, and their HCPs. And of course, in turn, this facilitates conversations that advance medical research, advance science, and it ultimately advances their business.
That's cool. And so I imagine it's more than a Calendly. So help us unpack that and the difference maker that it is.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, the best way to put it is truly all in one. Like, we're not asking uh, attendees to download multiple platforms or access multiple websites. It is one single platform. And as soon as, whether they're prepping for leading up to an event or whether they're on site at an event, like, everything that they need is at their fingertips in one single place. But what's our difference, right? I mean, it's no secret that the event tech space has become quite popular over the last few years. There's a lot of software companies out there that overlap with what we do. There's even more agencies out there that will like manually mimic a solution, right, for quite a heavy price tag. I will say, while we do still work with some other verticals and industries, we stand out simply because we were truly designed for the healthcare and the pharmaceutical industry. All of our features have been really crafted and perfected to envelop what the healthcare industry expects from their employees. So I'm going to go back to my earlier example, that medical congress. Employees take ownership of managing their own appointments. They can find available rooms to book those rooms for those appointments and instantly. They can even see who else from their organization is meeting with, both internally and externally. And they can do this all on their own, all in one place. This level of visibility, I mean, it not only helps with organizational alignment, but it really helps to eliminate like duplicative efforts. So all of that really impacts the company's ROI for using us in the first place.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I want to give a quick shout out to the customer success team, because
you're on a roll.
What we do, like, we really, really feel like we have a competitive edge in our space because of our CS team. We take the time to listen to every single account that comes in the door. So it's a very personalized approach to using our software and our platform. Every account is going to be set up differently. They're going to use it differently. And we really go in very detail with our accounts to understand what that looks like. So they are the best suited individuals to maximize our customers' experience, not only because they know the platform in and out, but because they genuinely care. And I just want to say that, like, most of our customers will continue to come back to us and contract for our CS team specifically, just to have them available, for whatever might come up.
I love that, Arielle. Thank you. And a big shout out to the CS team at your company. And so, I love it. And thank you for clarifying. It's so confusing. And on top of that, there's so many platforms. And on top of that, we spend so much money going to these conferences. So you painted this picture of now, instead of kind of getting through the fog after the event, loading and unloading stuff into the CRM, everything's happening real time. And I can say these X meetings are going to lead to X dollars. Then we could forecast this is going to go great.
Yep, exactly. In so many different ways. That could be anything from renting meeting room space, right? And how many rooms do we need for this upcoming conference, to did we send too many team members on site? Was it really needed to put that many boots on the ground? There's so many different analyses that you can run from that. And the longer that we have the clients that we have, the more and more robust that picture becomes.
I love it. Well, there's a lot we can unpack here. And certainly excited to if we have more time at the end. So let's continue. Like you've outlined, and I like to focus on differences, right? And so you've outlined that you guys are an all-in-one shop. There's other folks wanting to do this all manually. Is there a software that is behind it all, and intelligence that you leverage to make this happen?
Us. Us.
Human intelligence, muscle.
We've developed it. I mean, everything that I've been talking to thus far is coded and developed by us. I mean, granted, we we integrate with a lot of other platforms out there.
Yeah.
We're not trying to be everything to everyone. A perfect example is just registration. There's a huge component to just events in general for the healthcare industry where it's like registering yourself, right? Registering your people for an event. We're not over there, right? Like we're the experience, right? The registration is a whole other ballgame. So
Sure.
of course, we're gonna integrate nicely with platforms that do that. But no, I mean everything that I've said thus far is we've developed it.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. And that's
Right.
that's what I was getting at, right? You guys have a software, a platform that you guys home grew that
Yeah.
enables this experience backed up by your CS team.
Yes.
Got it. Love
Exactly.
that.
Yep.
Okay. Well, look, it's been 7 years and you've done a lot there. You guys have grown specifically in healthcare. What's a big setback that you guys have been faced with that really turned into a big learning that's made you guys better?
Sure. Okay. So, I mean, I'm going to go a little cliche with this one, I have to say. I mean, it should not come as a surprise to hear that COVID was a pretty significant setback
Oh, yeah,
to a
big.
technology company centered around events. I
Events.
mean,
Yeah.
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 So, yeah. So at the time, I alluded earlier to it, but at the time, like we greatly widened our scope to all different virtual events and all different
Oh,
industries.
yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, we had to, honestly. Like it kept our bootstrapped startup afloat. Um, but I mean, I do often wonder if it, took our eye off the prize a little bit. We shifted focus away from improving the technology that we developed for healthcare and pharma. But now that the industry has returned from to
You
what
got
we saw as pre-COVID numbers, we're in a really, really good place. I mean, 90% of our revenue is coming from healthcare and pharma. But I want to say like hindsight's 2020. Like,
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure.
yeah, like perhaps my learning here is, focus on the customers that you have and their specific needs. Because when you try and reach everyone, you reach ultimately no one. Um, at the same time, I'm very blessed to be sitting here today with you. And I don't know, I don't know if I could say that if we didn't, go down that rabbit hole to keep us afloat. So, I'm all about like staying flexible, staying fluid. We are a small tech startup company. Like you have to be, if you want to make it. But I'm quickly learning just within the past couple of years in this space that like if you get off track, like you got to get back on track quickly because there is always someone like in the wing, ready and willing and able to take your spot. So
Totally. And that's the
yeah.
reality. That is the
Yeah.
reality. It's like the jungle. It's the jungle out there, guys. So you better be vigilant.
Yeah.
And yeah, love that lesson. It reminds me of the 4 A's. Whenever you're in a tough spot, you basically acknowledge
Mm.
acknowledge what's going on. You accept that it's going on. You act and you attack. So once your
And you-
actions measure up, you attack. You guys did just that. You stayed
Yeah.
afloat. And then you brought your head back up from surviving
Yep.
to
Very
thriving
much.
again, right?
Yeah.
And back into your sweet spot.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's
Yeah.
so great. That's so great.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. This is a question that I've been asking often. What's one healthcare trend or technology that will change healthcare as we know it?
Yeah. Okay. I am not going to say AI.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that is such an obvious and a given. And I'm sorry
Yeah.
if anybody said AI. But I mean, you could create an entire podcast about AI in
Seriously.
healthcare,
Totally.
So I'm going to go in a totally different direction. I'm not even going to talk about a technology or, a platform. I want to leave your audience with this. For all my years in working with healthcare, there's a key element that resonates, and it's proven incredibly hard to achieve this element, and that is cohesiveness. An organization's ability to present themselves as a single unit, acting as one, and always with the patient's best interest in mind. I mean, it's frankly what we need the future to be, right? But in my opinion, that theory, that patient first, it has to start at the smallest level of an organization and then really radiate outwards. So it starts with an employee or a set of employees that don't really have any direct contact with a patient or affiliation with the patient. And their best practices, their standard operating procedures, they're all crafted through this patient first lens. It's incredibly hard to achieve, yet it is top of mind for every account that I've personally spoken to. So that cohesiveness, I mean, that positions these companies differently in their space. I mean, it makes them appear more likable, more or easier to work with, more humble to the individuals who are in turn advancing their business. And those individuals, they're the clinicians, they're the scientists, they're the researchers, they're the hospital administration. It's all connected, and it really does all matter, which is why at Event Cadence, we are constantly striving to help organizations find that unified approach, find that unified alignment, and with a purpose.
That's awesome. Cohesiveness, folks. Cohesiveness. That's what
Mhm.
it's about. It's beyond technology. And the higher up in an organization you go and you try to have these AI or technology conversations, they always go back to people.
Yeah, seriously.
It's always about people, right? And
Seriously.
what culture do we have to
Yep.
adopt technologies and be more cohesive? So, Arielle, I love that you went there with this. Definitely shows that you've been having conversations at those levels
Very
because
much
that's
so.
what matters. That's what
Yep.
matters.
Thank you.
Love it. Okay, well here we are at the end. I'd love to ask you one closing thought, and then the best place that our listeners and viewers could get to know you more and learn more about your company.
Sure. I would just leave you with that we at Event Cadence were really, really stoked about the future and then ultimately what it holds for us. We are a tech-driven company. I mean, we're passionate about developing solutions for our customers to make their lives easier. It sounds so basic, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. And like we wouldn't be here if we weren't passionate about that. So with that being said, I would love to ask your listeners if I said anything today and it sparked any like thoughts or ideas or interests, like we would genuinely love to hear from you. It is how we as a company, how we grow. So we are on all socials at Event Cadence. You can also find us on our commercial website, eventcadence.com. Other than that, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure, Arielle.
Yeah.
And we will make sure to leave all the ways to get in touch with you and the
Cool.
Event Cadence team in the show notes. So appreciate you providing us with that call to action. Folks, take advantage. Now's the time. You can't afford to be disjointed in your efforts. And when you have companies like Event Cadence to help you be more cohesive, you got to take advantage of it. So jump into it. Don't be afraid. Be bold. Thank you all for tuning in. And Arielle, thanks for being with us.
Thanks all.